Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV. And hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. We welcome you. We have a brand new show today. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show is Leadership of the Heart. And our subject is the Great Awakening, how we're shifting from a leadership perspective, which is 3D egocentric, into 5D heart-centric. Joining me on this new show is my coach. She's a transformation and leadership coach, and she is the one who helped me leave my corporate role and do what it is that I love to do so much. Let's welcome MARISKA joining us from where? New Zealand. Yay! You know I love to say that, right?
Yes, I do. You do love saying New Zealand quite a lot.
Well, it's just interesting because it's so far away, but yet you and I are so close.
Exactly. And the funnest part, I think, of all of it, people that think that you cannot build virtual relationships, we have proven them wrong. We have actually never met in person. So there you go.
It's very true. I know. It's amazing. We've got a great show today. I love this topic. We've got an extra special guest who's joining us. Before I bring him out, I'm going to spotlight you, MARISKA, and if you could share a little bit about the work that you do and how you help your clients.
So I work with my clients on transformation and leadership, and I have a tendency to focus within that space, going from specialization into more leadership positions. And I really love this area of work because for a lot of us, we study a long time to actually become really good at a specific field or specific area. And then we want to move up and move on in life. And of course, for a lot of us, leadership is that next step. And we don't always know how to go about it. We are really good at what we did before, but the leadership thing sort of feels strange. And leadership is one of those skills that we can actually learn, which is really exciting. And that is one of the reasons why I enjoy so much to work with my clients on this area and having the show to share with you guys all the different aspects of leadership.
Brilliant. Thank you. And for people who are not aware, MARISKA is all right. Let us welcome our guest. This person is a dear friend also. I have not met him in person. He's a special correspondent here at USA Global TV, and he is a global television broadcaster and journalist. He has 55 years experience. And if you have been watching the news at any time in the last 55 years, you have seen this man over and over. He is in high demand for the wonderful work that he does. He specializes in commentating on the royal family as well as politics. And one of the things I just love about him so much is he really cares about people. He really cares about people having a voice. He's a huge advocate for empowering women. And his name is Ian Pelham Turner. Welcome. Delay. Oh, no, I hope he's not frozen.
It's Jacalyn.
Uh-oh. I think you're frozen, Ian. It was that introduction, I think.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Welcome.
Hello. Okay, thank you. So, Jacalyn, I was just going to say to you, I think I need you as my American agent. You know, I would never describe myself as anything other than just being a normal person who's been tremendously lucky in life. And I'm lucky to be on the show with two wonderful ladies tonight as well.
Well, thank you, Ian. And, for people who don't know, Ian actually reached out to me. I think it was a year ago or somewhere near that time frame. And to have someone of your caliber, your integrity, and your expertise reach out to me and give me a little uplift meant so much when I first started this platform. So thank you. I'll always be grateful to you.
Well, I first of all, I love womanhood. I believe in women. I think a lot more women should be really in much higher positions today as well. So that's the first thing. I think what you showed to me was a lot of courage doing something like this, a lot of intelligence in the ways that you've actually created the station itself. And I love people who create value. And Jacalyn, you create value.
Oh, you're so sweet. Like a little tear. Thank you. Thank you. So, Mariska and Ian, I'd love to have a conversation with you. As we look at the world that we're in today, and Ian, obviously you have done so much news coverage and have seen so many things, been out in the field. Our world has been so focused on the ego and about capitalism and about money. And now there's definitely a shift. And it's not that everyone's on board with the shift, but I feel that the people are looking inside as a result of the pandemic. They're looking within and connecting with themselves and trying to have a different viewpoint and help other people. I'm going to start with Ian. What are your thoughts about that?
I think your world is changing now. It's like watching what's happening in Ukraine at the moment as well. To see the world coming together to go against anything that creates darkness in this world and challenging in this world, it's a wonderful thing to see, because in reality, when I analyze in politics, for example, what is happening right now, it's not people, it's not the Chinese people, it's not the Russian people, it's not the people from Europe, wherever, who are creating these problems. A lot of the times it's politicians who are creating these problems, who seem to use ego or any sort of situation that seems to benefit them. But does it benefit the people they represent? I don't think it does a lot of the time. And I think, in leadership nowadays, I look at today, for example. There was a young girl today that's being shown on British television, 7 years old. She's in a bunker. She's frightened. She's scared. And she sings a song called Let It Go that people have now are seeing. It's trending right across the world. This 7-year-old girl. That's leadership. That's leadership from a 7-year-old girl who is trying to make people happy. And in my world, I want to see a more positive world. I want to see a much more level playing field and opportunities for women, certainly. I think women are much cleverer than men, quite honestly, in a lot of these situations. And I think it's really, when I look at the two of you tonight as well, you're two great examples of how women can really use their values, their intelligence, womanhood as well, to actually create a better world.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Mariska, I'm sure you're choked up, but the show must go on. What would you like to add when it comes to 3D to 5D?
It's interesting how I think if we are in a certain space ourselves, we have a tendency to see and create more of that. So if we in a space of fear, this is what we see around us, and this is what we create more in our life. Whereas when we're in that space of love and wanting to care for other people. And like the 7-year-old girl, right? She wants to feel happy. She doesn't want to feel scared. And just singing the song helps her to feel happy. And it also helps those around her to feel happy. And we start creating something different. And it's always our own responsibility to be creating. We always have that responsibility. And we just need to realize that it is our responsibility and not anyone else's. That, I think, helps a little bit. It's just more of us need to realize it and start doing it.
Taking action. I agree. Thank you. And Ian, you and Helena shared a clip with us from UNICEF. And in there's also a little girl. And what I noticed, and we're going to play the clip, what I noticed about the clip is the little girl is saying, everything's good. We have food, we have water, and it's the adult who's saying everything is falling apart and everything's wrong. And so, not having any children, I just wonder, where does that transition take place, that the child is innocent and full of happy thoughts and uplifting, and then changes and becomes an adult with other types of perspectives? Mariska, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's possible that we just forget. It's not gone. We forget. We forget that it's there. And the reason why I say we forget is I actually had an opportunity not too long ago to go surfing with my husband. And while we were in the waves and enjoying the day, I looked at the bubbles that the waves make as they break. And I remember seeing those same bubbles when I was little and we went to the ocean. And I thought, oh, this is so wonderful. And that feeling, that joy came back. So it's not like it's gone. We just forget that it's there.
It's buried down, I think. And Ian's back with us. Welcome back, Ian.
I do think we get consumed sometimes.
I agree with you. I want to take a look at this clip. Hi, welcome back.
Hi. So, what I was just about to say to you, and Marissa as well, and I come on board freedom. I think freedom is very important, the feeling of freedom. But I can honestly say I live my life without fear. And that, for a lot of people, will say, how do you do that? And I think the way I lead my life is that if I have an issue, I deal with it. I'm a doer. I get things done. I listen to my emotions. If my emotions are telling me something, I listen to them and I get something done. And so I think in my own life, I've eradicated fear. Because fear is a negative feeling that can actually stop you doing the potential that you really want to do in your life. Freedom is fabulous. I suppose in a lot of ways I have the freedom to do whatever I want to do in my life now. But I also feel at the same time, I'm just tremendously lucky. And it's a strange thing. I call it my pilot's lights. And my pilot lights, through good times and bad times, it's always been there. And I've always had the confidence to know that I can achieve whatever I want to achieve.
Thank you for sharing that, Ian. And Ian, you have such an incredible life of accomplishments, one after another. And I know you've also gone through your own hard times like all of us. So when you think about your career and you think about leadership, who are some of the leaders or mentors in your life who have inspired you?
I didn't quite get the end of your message, but in reality, I think who have been important to me? My father. I think I always say, and my mother. I always say my father gave me chivalry and my mother gave ambition, and I think they were tremendous. Both are passed over now, but in reality, that they gave me what I feel determines who I am today. And I think when I look through my life, I've worked with some incredible people in my life as well. And I think, leadership is all about people. They may be very humble. And I tend to find the best leaders are very humble people anyway. That they don't get it, that they feel that they are important to people. I mean, I just see myself as a grain of sand in the desert when it comes to broadcasting. I've been tremendously. I think the luckiest thing I can actually say to anybody is I've loved every single day of my working life, and I've worked for 55 years now.
That says a lot. It sure does. Because I don't think I could say that. Mariska, could you?
Well, I haven't worked 55 years yet. I'm hoping that most of it will fall into Ian's bracket, although there is a couple of years that I can definitely say does not.
I want to talk a little bit about the media and celebrity and the whole idea of 3D versus 5D. So all of us have people that we like watching them. We like the way their interview style is. We like the way they engage with the camera. And some people really stand out to me as leading with their heart. And so my question for you, Ian, and then over to you, Mariska, is how do you see the role of a television broadcaster, a commentator? How do you see that role changing, if at all, when it comes to leading with the heart?
I think these days always question everything. Don't just take things at face value, first of all, and always find for me, being an investigative journalist in my ear. But I feel proud because I remember years ago when Ceausescu was the leader, and he had killing fields in Bucharest, killing the street children of Bucharest. And I was partly able to help sort of stop things like that. So I think broadcasters these days, that you have to take the good bad. We live in a broadcaster. We are in one of the most best jobs in the world. I've met the most incredible world leaders.
That's strange.
I think we just lost Ian.
I think we lost him as well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just continue on. So part of what I have seen, there's a broadcaster television host. She's a huge celebrity. Her name is Oprah, and she has a big heart, and people really like her because she's so generous and she really cares about helping other people. And I look at her as a leader for me, because to me, I feel like she has it all. Are you familiar with her?
I am. I loved watching her show when I was little, especially. I recall coming home after school, and then my mom would have recorded the show for us. And we actually watched it before having to go and do homework. So yes, very familiar with her.
That's fabulous. What are your thoughts about her?
I think she is really, to me, she really stands out. She's charismatic and she really cares. It really shows whenever anybody comes onto the show. you can almost feel the caring. And I think especially for leaders, yes, there is some elements of strategy and all the rest of it that we need to have, but we are leading other human beings. And in that process, for human beings, we want to be able to connect with each other. We want to be able to be part of a team. We want to be cared for. We want to feel cared for. And we expect that our leaders has some element of that. We don't want somebody just to go, yeah, this is the direction we're going in and that's it. We need more from them than just that. And I think she really displayed that really well.
I agree. Let's see if Ian's back with us. And she also has really good interviewing skills. You know, she can ask the hard questions and get the answer without intimidating the person she's interviewing.
Yes. And I think with her questioning, it also feels like no matter what it is that you're going to share, it will be okay. Even if she might not agree with your point of view, it's still going to be okay. It's your point of view and it's accepted. And that is a really great quality to have.
Absolutely. I think she's also a very good listener.
Yes. And she didn't even have to go on a listening mentor course. Or maybe she did. We don't know.
We don't know. Ian, are you with us? I think he's frozen.
Yes, I'm suspecting his internet is not loving him at the moment.
Yes. All right, we're gonna take a break for right now. This is the clip that I was referring to before for UNICEF. I want you to pay special attention to the little girl who is leading us through this clip, because to me she seems so positive and so just grateful for what she has. Let's take a look.
Меня зовут Маша, мне 9 лет, я живу в Красногоровке, у меня все хорошо. Кушать у нас есть, пить у нас есть, сахар у нас есть, все есть. Только дров не хватает. На буржуйке, когда у нас есть, вот эти мы дрова пособираем, закинем, оно горит. Например, в 10 запалили, в 11 закончили, вода нагрелась, и все, и мы купаемся.
В наш дом 4 было прямых попаданий, так что мы боимся. Человека даже осколками поранило, забрали в больницу с 6-го подъезда соседа, так что мы тоже боимся, у нас много деток. Деваться нам некуда, нас никто нигде не ждет.
Когда вырасти, я хочу найти работу такую, чтобы я помогала людям, которые бедные, там.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. Our show today is Leadership of the Heart. And Mariska Duprier is my friend, my coach. She is our team member here. She's a trifecta of team members. She's a co-host, she's a talking head, and she's an elevated listener. And joining us today is Ian Pelham-Turner, although I think he might be frozen. But we will check back with him. We are talking today about leadership shift, the great awakening as we look to leaders to move from 3D centric thoughts and actions to 5D, where they're leading with their heart. Mariska, what thoughts do you have so far about our show?
Well, I was just reflecting on the clip that we actually just saw and looking at the little girl, how she really just embraced whatever was going on around her and taking the best elements out of a situation that wasn't ideal. And it made me think, how many times do we have everything in our life? We really don't have anything to complain about, and yet we find stuff to complain about.
True.
It's, I don't know, maybe a bad mindset that we need to relook at. But I'm wondering, from the leaders that you admire, Jacalyn, what have you found is maybe a mindset that they have that might be a bit different from other people?
That's a great question. I think that in some cases, they don't even realize they are officially the leader. In other words, maybe they have the title, maybe they don't have the title, because we can find leaders everywhere and anywhere, but yet their mission is bigger than them. It's bigger than how much money do I have in the bank account or how many cars do I have. It's about creating something for the greater good.
That is so true. Do you think we have Ian back yet? I would
don't think
love
so.
to hear his answer.
Ian, are you with us? I'd say I think he's been in that position for a while. Maybe he can disconnect and come back. So something I wanted to share with you today, when we were just looking at that clip, right? And that young girl said they have water, they have sugar, they have everything. And we can look around at all the things that we have. Today, I was in the garage and I was doing laundry and I saw this, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called a gazelle. It's a workout machine that it's almost like a Nordic track. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's a gazelle here. It was my gazelle. So I took the thing out and I used it for over an hour today. And I just thought, how blessed am I that this gazelle is in the garage? The last time this thing was out was when my dad was alive. So it's 10 years ago and it's still working. So the point is, there are little things and big things to be happy for. And I know that some of the leaders that I've had in my life, there are a couple who really stand out to me. And I think part of the reason that they stand out also is because they were leading in one way, and then something happened in their life that had them look at their own behavior, and then they changed their leadership style and were leading from their heart. Like they had an awakening based on something that happened in their own life.
Yes, it's interesting to see how, as we grow as humans, as individuals, how we show up in the world also change. I'm just thinking about a conversation I had with one of my leaders when I was still very young, just started in a supervisory position. And he said something, and I can't recall the words verbatim, but he mentioned that always take note how you treat and speak to others, because you don't know when that will have an impact. And that always stuck with me. Him speaking, his words stuck with me. And I remember to be cognizant of the way that I treat other people and the way that I speak to them, because it might be that one time, they might be in that one space where that's going to make a difference and that will actually stay with them. So that was something that through my journey within having leaders in my life, that was something that I really treasure and take with me. And Jacalyn, I was wondering, when you think about the leaders that you've interacted with, if you could build a leader that would be the ideal leader with heart, how would they look like?
That's a great question. Let me think about it. We actually have Ian back. I'm going to think about that while we bring him back. Yay, there you are.
Shh. There's gremlins tonight.
We're talking about people in the media who stand out to us, whether they're television broadcasters or commentators, but they stand out because they lead with their heart. And obviously, Ian, you are one of those. So we moved on from there to watch the clip of the little girl who was sharing that, you know, for UNICEF, that she has everything. She sees everything through the eyes of a child, innocent and grateful. Would you like to comment on either of those?
I think because you were talking about, and it's wonderful seeing a clip like this young girl. I think, and also what UNICEF are doing right now, very important. But I think basically, I think really broadcasters sometimes should just have conversations. And what I try to do when I'm doing my interviews is just a conversation with someone, rather than, you know, a set of questions that are sort of logged out beforehand. But what I love, you know, I love some of the big American broadcasters, Larry King, Walter Cronkite, you know, favorites of mine. I loved the interview last year with Meghan and Harry and Oprah. And I think Oprah did the most classic, memorable question last year that I think was probably the best piece of television I'd seen for a long time, when Meghan was talking about one of the royal family had said that what color was the baby going to be. And it was almost like it was this moment of magic where there was then Oprah says, "What?" And those moments of sort of television magic that I love to sort of see as well. And I think you know, when you sort of what are the differences between people who are leaders? What I tend to find, the leaders in this world are people who are quite humble as well. Some of them have an ego, and I get that, but I think the real leaders of this world are people who just want to do good. They just want to create value for the world. You look at people like Gandhi, you look at sort of, you know, sort of the great leaders of the past as well. And they just wanted to create good. They didn't, it wasn't talking about themselves, you know, that they were unimportant in their own heads. What they were trying to do was create value for other people. And I think that's what really is the essence of a leader.
Absolutely, I agree. And Ian, while you were gone, we were talking about Oprah because she's a big inspiration for me. I think not only does she really care about other people, and she's an excellent interviewer, and she is real and down to earth with everything that she's accomplished. She's not above the people, she's with the people.
And I think that's what it's all about, because, you know, I'm no better than anyone else. I don't see myself in some hierarchy at all. I think I'm probably in one of the most privileged communities I could ever possibly imagine. And when I've worked with some all-time greats, the real Hollywood legends, the Sinatras, the John Waynes, the Sophie Lorens, all these types of people. And in reality, they all gave something. They all gave. They were happy. Providing you were professional with them, they were professional with you. And they all gave something as well. And I think with Oprah at the same time, it's one of those magic moments in television that you think that was such a memorable moment. It sort of caught people's attentions. It trended right across the world, just that one quote. And I think at times, a lot of my work these days is what we call sound bites. It's creating a memorable moment that will make people right across the world understand what's the emotion of a subject.
A lot of really key points there. I want to share something. I actually had the honor of meeting Oprah. She was in the 90s in Philadelphia at what was the Sporting Club. It was a gym. She was on the Stairmaster next to me. And she was just, this is a long time ago, but she was already famous, and she just was the nicest person. She was doing her workout. I was doing mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and I think that is one of the things about
the reality is. Sorry, I didn't want to cut across you there, Marisa. I think the reality, I would say, is that a lot of people who are leaders are quite shy people as well, and I take my work seriously, but do I take myself seriously? Hopefully not, or I hope I don't come across like that. And I think, in reality, we're just normal people. Eat, we drink, we sleep. We enjoy life, and I think because we enjoy life so much in doing what we're doing, it's the biggest buzz in this world. Being able to create things. I wish I was your ages, ladies, at the moment, but know what I knew now. I want to live forever. I want to live forever.
Well, I don't know if you're watching our shows, Loving Longevity, but there's a lot of tips about how we're apparently going to be living into our 120s.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of good tips are provided on that show, which is on Fridays.
Well, I'm booked on that train.
Well, there is a saying, youth is wasted on the young.
Absolutely. Ian, I'm wondering, as we come to the end of our show, which I can't believe went by so fast, you have been in the company of royalty and A-list celebrities, and the ones that you referred to, you mentioned Sinatra. What were some of the character traits of the ones who you felt the most connected to that you can describe for us? Because you have met some of the most famous people in the world and worked with them.
Yeah. I think the first thing I learned very early on, at that time I was a photographer more than anything, be professional, be courteous to them, because, I worked a lot on movie sets, for example, and with people like Elizabeth Taylor. And so basically what I used to do is make sure the lighting was right, everything was ready. I'd be there an hour beforehand. I would just make that they could walk in for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 50 minutes. That was up to them. I expected them to be professional during that period when I was photographing them. Most of these very, very big names, they could see that I'd been professional. A lot of the time they valued that. I remember a lot of the time, I worked with some very, very big names. And after the camera had been put down, they would come and just have a chat. They were just normal people. And this is the point I'm making. You look at these names on a big screen and you think, wow. But, that they have feelings, they have ambitions, they have fears about how a movie is going or how a show is going. And a lot of the time, with people, I used to work a lot with Tony Bennett, for example. And Tony Bennett would go on stage and he was this masterpiece of music ability. And then he would come off and then he was a very gentle person, very nice person to work with at the same time. And so, but you always gave them time when they came off stage just to calm down and become themselves again. Because a lot of these people, as I say, the broadcasters or the leaders, behind the scenes, they may appear confident, but in reality, there's a giant behind them as well.
Thank you so much. That's actually, it's comforting to know that everyone probably has trepidations, insecurities. And I think that's what makes a really good leader good, is that authenticity, is the transparency that you are just a person going through something and you're in a certain role. And with a lot of these celebrities, huge celebrities that you've been with, they weren't always famous. There was a time when they were just a regular person, and that part of them, I'm sure, is still there too. Mariska?
That's right. I think with celebrities, sorry if I'm cutting across you, there's a bad connection tonight. I think with celebrities, with leaders, leaders a lot of the time, the real leaders, the ones that I do, are ones that care. And I think that really sums up what a great leader is. If any leader has a value, is that they care about making a difference.
And there it is. That's the great awakening as we shift from 3D to 5D consciousness in leadership. Ian, thank you so much for being here today. And I know it's your evening there, and I look forward to seeing you. You are with us on Wednesdays on the United Kingdom show, and you also have your own show. Would you like to tell our audience anything about your show tomorrow?
That's right. We have our own show tomorrow, and we're going to do a thing on International Women's Day tomorrow. So we've got some very exciting clips lined up. Helena is super excited. Helena Shah, my great friend and co-producer and presenter, we've got some incredible clips for tomorrow. And so we're doing another exciting show. And then hopefully soon we will have you on as well.
Yes, I think I'm booked in for next week. So I'm very excited about that. Okay. Thank you so much, Ian, for being here. I hope you have a beautiful evening and come back and see us again soon.
Bye, Ian.
Okay. I guess he's not coming back. All right. Mariska.
Take care. Have a good one.
All right,
bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye. I love technology. It's great.
Yes. Yes. Keeps things interesting.
So, Mariska, I'm going to spotlight you, and if you can share with our audience, what can they expect in future episodes of the show? And then also, how can people reach out to you?
Well, for future episodes of the show, we will look at leadership and the heart of it. So different elements that might come up that shows that there is more to leadership than just being the person walking in front. And ways that you guys can get hold of me is either through my LinkedIn, or otherwise you can always email me, mariska@journeytodiscover.com, and the 2 is the number 2. Or alternatively, visit my website, journeytodiscover.com.
Thank you very much. And I was just thinking that this graphic we have behind us, I really am liking it, and I'll tell you why. It feels like when you're with a leader, you're with a peer, like you and I are together, right? We're working together, doing this, we're friends. It feels peaceful. It feels positive and uplifting. And yet the heart is standing out. And we both lead with our hearts, don't we?
Yes, I think that we are human, so we often fail, and that's okay. The thing is to get up and try again. And that, I think, is what most leaders does. Most great leaders, as Ian mentioned, are humble. They accept the fact that we are human, we all feel, and they show it. They show us that it is okay. And I think that is the biggest message that I got from today. And I would love to hear yours, Jacalyn.
I also loved a couple of things about the interview with Ian. As he mentioned, he has worked with the most famous people in the world. And obviously, as a royal photographer, being with the royal family and Her Majesty, he's still so easy to talk with, to have a conversation with. And he's been a great mentor to me. He has taught me so much that as I mentioned before, when he first contacted me, I was literally speechless. And then he took his own time to help me with this platform. And that means a lot. That says a lot. And he asked for nothing in return, by the way. I think that's another key takeaway, that when people lead with their hearts, they're not always there with the list going, oh, I did this, I did this, I did. We all know people like that, right? Every single thing they ever did, they want to throw it in your face. That's not leading with your heart. So I think that's really important. And I think also he mentioned that he doesn't live in fear and he gets things done. So just to peel back those things a little, the fear, I know that I feel fear for a fleeting amount of time because it comes in, right? And it's like, oh no, sorry, fear doesn't live here. But you can't say there you never feel any fear, but you just, it's how you respond to it, I think is really powerful. And I also think it's how you show up when you are in a state of insecurity or not feeling the best. How do you show up to others then? Do you take it out on other people? Do you transfer what you're feeling and put it onto them? Because great leaders who lead with their heart, that's not an attribute.
Yeah, that is so true. And I think for me, it's also something Ian mentioned was the knowing. He feels, right? He knows this is the emotion and this is what the emotion is telling him. And then he goes and he does. That knowing, understanding ourselves well enough and understanding people around us well enough to be able to understand what might be going on for them.
Yes.
What feeling they might be feeling at that stage.
And still being able to get things done. Because let's face it, with whatever is going on in the world, we still have things that have to get done.
Mhm.
And we have people that we have responsibilities and that we're accountable and deliverables. And it's taking all those emotions and everything else that's going on and recognizing it, but getting the work done and showing up at the highest level.
Yeah. I think for me, so for 2022, I've picked a word
Here it
to
is.
try and live by. There it is, you say.
Let me hear it.
So my word that I picked was, or is, not was, is honor.
Mm.
And honor in all things, honor in the conversations I'm having, honor in how I'm feeling, honor in how other people are feeling. Honoring all of that, honoring my being on this planet and what I'm creating on this planet and what others might be creating on this planet. And just keeping that word front of mind has changed the way I look at things. So it's been quite fascinating. This is a little bit of an experiment that I decided to do this year. I haven't done it before. So it's been quite illuminating so far, and I've been enjoying it quite a lot to see the different elements that comes out just by having that one word as a compass of sorts.
I like that analogy, the compass, the beacon of light to keep us going. Fantastic. Well, Mariska, we have to conclude. We have another show coming up right after this. So it was fabulous doing this with you. And I look forward to doing it again next week and every week. And people can see you on Wednesday on Talking Heads at 5 p.m. Eastern time, which is what time in the Netherlands?
That would be 10 o'clock for me, 10 a.m. for me, until we do our whole daylight switch and you guys do your whole daylight switch, and then everything changes again.
We'll keep it the way it is for right now.
Yeah, well, we'll always keep it your time same, so we make it nice and easy. It's just going to become a little bit earlier for me.
All right, it's 5 p.m. Eastern time. All right, folks, we're signing off for right now, and we're coming right back with Entrepreneur and so much more with my co-host, Justin Rigliani. Bye for now. Bye, Mariska.
Bye.
Bye.